The alarm bells have rung. The world is closer to the use of nuclear weapons for the first time after the Hiroshima-Nagasaki event. Putin last month had categorically said to use the weapons, while many said that it was a political statement before the elections. But now, even though the elections are over, Putin isn't backing down. He's planned not just to bring Ukraine down, but to bring Europe under a nuclear winter. Why is he doing that, even though everybody knows that nuclear weapons are catastrophic? Today, we'll explain exactly what his nuke plan is and why this is a big error. Those following the developments in Ukraine are well aware that Putin has a history of nuclear threats. Specifically, he's mentioned the use of tactical nuclear warheads and has reportedly relocated some to Belarus, a nation he has used as a base for operations in Ukraine. This strategic positioning allows Putin to target any location within Ukraine with these nuclear weapons. Nevertheless, there is a distinct aspect to his latest threat that sets it apart, prompting the question we seek to address in this video. What has led Russia to consider using nuclear weapons now? One possible explanation stems from a topic briefly mentioned at the beginning of the video, a challenge to national sovereignty. Towards the end of February 2024, French President Emmanuel Macron participated in a meeting in Paris alongside several European counterparts. The objective was to explore measures to support Ukraine against Russia's ongoing territorial advances, with the recent capture of Avdiivka likely being a significant concern. After the meeting, Macron suggested the possibility of deploying troops to Ukraine, causing controversy among allies and Russia. Despite the backlash, Macron maintained that France could act independently of NATO. However, Western nations, including the US, UK, Poland, Sweden, and Germany, distanced themselves from the idea due to concerns about threatening Russia's sovereignty. Putin views any troops in Ukraine as an invasion of Russian soil, justifying his threats in response to Macron's comments. During a speech before Russia's March 2024 elections, Putin warned of tragic consequences for any country sending troops to Ukraine and threatened to use nuclear weapons, citing a history of defending against European aggression. Putin's nuclear threats are likely a response to Macron's suggestion of sending troops to Ukraine, as Putin views Ukraine as Russian territory. No other Western nations support Macron's idea, featuring Putin might act on his threat. Additionally, Putin's war in Ukraine has not gone as planned, with Ukraine resisting and receiving significant aid, causing substantial damage to Russia's military. Putin has lost more than 414,000 soldiers, 180,000 of them on the battlefield, and Ukraine claims to have destroyed thousands of tanks, armored vehicles, boats, and aircraft. These factors may contribute to Putin's willingness to use nuclear weapons. Putin's recent nuclear threats may be due to his belief that Western troops, such as France's, could enter Ukraine, which he views as Russian territory. He might consider this a justification for using nuclear weapons. Putin also believes that Russia's nuclear triad is more advanced than America's, giving him confidence in a nuclear confrontation. Russia currently has 1,549 strategic nuclear warheads, which can be delivered through various strategic delivery systems such as ICBMs and submarines. These warheads are designed to weaken enemies, making them unable to continue fighting. However, it remains uncertain if Russia's nuclear arsenal is truly as powerful as Putin claims. The Arms Control Association reports that Russia has access to 540 delivery systems for potential launches, slightly more than the United States. While the US trails by 130 strategic nuclear warheads according to ACA, it boasts more deployment options with 662 strategic delivery systems compared to Russia's 540. Despite numerical parity in strategic warheads, both nations possess enough to cause catastrophic damage to each other. Russia's arsenal also includes 1,000 to 2,000 tactical nuclear warheads, which are designed for specific battlefield use, such as countering overwhelming enemy forces. These tactical nukes, not covered by the new START treaty, present additional concerns, especially since Russia suspended the treaty in February 2022. Overall, according to the ACA, the American Federation of Scientists estimates that Russia possesses 4,489 nuclear warheads, with an additional 1,400 retired warheads awaiting dismantlement. The fate of these retired warheads remains uncertain. On the other hand, the United States has approximately 100 B-61 nuclear gravity bombs stationed in NATO bases across 5 European nations, Italy, Turkey, the Netherlands, Germany, and Belgium, which may not be included in its official strategic count. Additionally, the US has around 1,536 retired warheads awaiting dismantlement and a stockpile of approximately 3,708 warheads categorized as active or inactive. This totals 5,244 warheads, about 650 more than Russia's count as per ACA. When considering the nuclear arsenals of France and the UK, at 290 and 225 warheads respectively, it seems that the West surpasses Russia in sheer numbers. However, the accuracy of these figures could be affected by Russia's suspension of the New START treaty. Furthermore, there is speculation about the comparative technological superiority of Russia's nuclear triad over that of the United States, as claimed by Putin. But is that actually accurate? Let's begin with land-based capabilities. The primary method for the US to launch from land is through the Minuteman III missile stock. However, these are acknowledged to be outdated, and efforts to replace them with the Sentinel system are underway. Yet budgetary constraints and delays in developments have hindered progress, leaving the US reliant on the Minuteman III for now. The Department of Defense reports that the US has maintained 400 Minuteman III missiles on continuous alert since 1959. If Putin were to launch his nuclear arsenal, these missiles would be the initial response from America's nuclear triad. They are equipped to carry either W-78 or W-87 nuclear warheads, with strengths of 335 kilotons and 300 kilotons respectively, and can reach distances of up to 8,077 miles, ample range to target Russia. However, concerns persist regarding the reliability of the Minuteman III. In November 2023, news outlets revealed that the US had to destroy one of its Minuteman III missiles over the Pacific Ocean due to a detected malfunction. Although the US Air Force, which conducted the launch, provided limited details, this failed test served as a significant propaganda victory for Putin and potentially bolstered his confidence in Russia's own intercontinental ballistic missile capabilities. So what exactly are those capabilities? According to Putin, the primary one is the RS-28 Sarmat, also known as the Satan II. This ICBM is touted as Russia's most potent missile yet, and Putin claims it became operational in September 2023. The RS-28 Sarmat can carry a payload weighing up to 22,000 pounds, which can include nuclear warheads or glide vehicles. It boasts a longer range than the Minuteman III, with estimates suggesting it can travel between 6,200 and 11,200 miles, the latter being over 3,000 miles farther than the Minuteman III. On the surface, this appears to validate Putin's assertion of possessing more advanced land-based nuclear options. However, uncertainties remain regarding the number of RS-28s Russia possesses, the readiness for immediate launch, and the accuracy of their range data. Since Russia doesn't disclose its ICBMs under the New START treaty, the information provided may be exaggerated or, at best, estimated. Nonetheless, at face value, Russia appears to have the upper hand in the ICBM domain. But what about aerial launches? For the US, these would involve either its 46 B-52H Stratofortress bombers or its 20 B-2A Spirit aircraft. The B-52 serves as America's long-range aerial option, capable of reaching Russia with proper protection. This heavy bomber can carry both precision-guided conventional weapons and nuclear bombs, and has seen extensive use, participating in 40% of weapon drops during Operation Desert Storm. According to the Department of Defense, it will remain operational until 2040. Meanwhile, the B-2A stealth bomber, though being phased out for the more advanced B-21 Raider, currently serves as America's primary short-range stealth option. Stationed at NATO bases in Europe, it can travel 6,000 nautical miles before dropping its payload over Russian territory. Together, these aircraft pose a significant aerial threat. Putin emphasized this preference in February 2024 by flying on one of Russia's Tu-160M bombers, touted as the fastest nuclear cable strategic bomber in service. With a reported top speed of 1,370 miles per hour, it surpasses the B-52H and B-2A, which reach speeds of around 650 miles per hour. This speed advantage can make it challenging to intercept if Russia opts for an aerial launch. However, Russia has produced only 35 Tu-160M bombers since 1987, while the US boasts 66 aerial platforms between the B-52H and B-2A fleets, potentially granting it aerial superiority. Nevertheless, it remains a closely contested scenario. While the Tu-160M appears more advanced in terms of speed, its limited numbers may hinder its effectiveness compared to America's aerial options. Now, shifting focus to the sea-based components of the nuclear triad, both the US and Russia can launch nuclear missiles from submarines, with the US relying on its 14 Ohio-class ballistic submarines. So, the escalating nuclear capabilities of both nations underscore an urgent need to avoid conflict, as no side stands to gain from such a catastrophic outcome. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and watch our video on why Norway is poised for economic prosperity.